and stuck its fangs into his neck. Alright, we're back with Varney Lake. I think this will be the last episode. I think I read that this game is about 2 hours long. So the kids are now in a cool club with a vampire and they tell horror stories and watch horror movies together, which is weird. But also the goat baby from Mothman 1966. If you haven't seen this, I will put it at the end of this video, but also in the video description so you can take a look. It's by the same game studio. It's beautiful. I love it. And we get to meet Lee and Roy as well in this game. They were introduced in that game, I think. So if you like this, you will love Mothman 1966. Okay, so let's continue. We're in the cafe. Who are these two people? Sorry, I don't know what's going on here. Burp. Mrs. Burp. Lists enjoy telling these stories. There was something about the way he moved his hands, the way he projected his voice, and his shadow. It looked like, I don't know, like he could control the darkness around him. Christine shifts in her chair. But his most striking feature were his eyes. Yeah. There was something about the way he looked at you that took you to the very heart of his stories. Is it you? The couple look at you in silence. They expect you to say something. When was the last time something like this happened? If that's me, the old couple smile. And something snaps inside you. Don't be... You tell them you're not that person. You're not the author of... Please, I'm busy. You hear the old man tut as they walk away. Oh, I didn't want to be... Achievement unlocked jerk. No, I wanted to be coy, like... Is it me? Oh, I should have known. He's holding a copy of a book you obviously recognize. No, Risen by Falling Star. Oh, man. No. Oh, being unkind to a fan. Oh, with a subtitle your editor added and you never really liked. The Secret Story of the Cryptids Wars. You even remember the text on the dust jacket. Risen by Falling Stars by Lou Hill features exclusive first-person reports on the last battle of the Cryptid Wars in 1966. Risen by Falling Stars had sold more than 100,000 copies. Christine coughs and you apologize. The smiles of the old couple stick with you. Where were those smiles when you released your last book and couldn't sell the minimum required by the publisher? But it's not there. I don't regret any choices in this game, but this one. Where were we? God damn it. We don't get a view from Doug, obviously. So it will be really interesting what happened to him. Varney Lake. You know that if you lived here, it wouldn't be the same. And all of this has value because it has an end. Christine takes out her notebook. Although you did lots of things, you couldn't achieve anything on the summer bucket list. But does it matter? Yeah, I skipped the fishing. I didn't make any money. I don't know what the other one was, but, you know, we had fun. You see a friend smile. And you can't help but copy them. You like to tell them how much you love them. But you feel embarrassed. Will you be brave tonight? You don't understand. Why is it so hard to talk to her? But maybe it's not your fault. Maybe you never really had the choice. Like every year, all the kids gather on the beach of the lake to watch the fireworks. The explosions of color in the sky mark the end of summer. Even though you try to smile, you find it hard to hide the pit you've been feeling in your stomach for the last few days. The simple realization that nothing lasts forever. How many more summers like this one will you have? Do you hear that? Neither of you says anything. Neither one of you ever says anything. It's the toads! Christine grimaces and looks at you. Doug taps you on the shoulder. Croak! Doug bursts into laughter. Yes, Jimmy, croak. I've just seen Maggie, so go on, croak like a horny toad. Doug looks down. What's wrong with Christine? She knows her cousin is in love with Maggie. Oh, okay, so that's Maggie. Why would she say something like that? Doesn't she talk to you all the time about her boyfriend? Hey, we didn't. I kept it. Doug kicks a rock. You want to say something, but you see Brandon. He looks lost. Yeah. You remember end of summer parties of the past. How most kids avoided the place where Brandon and his gang hung out. That Brandon everyone was afraid of. What had Liz done to him to leave him like that? Look who we have here. The guys surround Brandon. And Brandon doesn't seem to understand what's about to happen. Bert, who Brandon once pushed out of a moving car. Tommy, from whom Brandon had stolen a slinky just to wrap it around his leg, leaving him with marks that, according to the doctor who treated him, were permanent. Steve, whom Brandon had lifted by the collar of his shirt with one hand and his underpants with the other, to use him as if he were a battering ram to take down his friends, while the rest of the gang exploded with laughter. And your friends? Everyone had been talking about it. Without violent and abusive Brandon, the boys were no longer afraid of them. And none of the other members of the gang would dare to come to the fireworks. But what about Brandon? Why had he come? Everything happens too fast. And the moment he hits the ground, everyone starts kicking him. Stop, please! You see, motherfucker! Oh no! No! You like that, son of a bitch? Each explosion illuminates Brandon's terrified face from a different angle. He's a different person, so look at the big baby crying. Should we call Mommy? Alright. She'd rather stick her head in the oven than watch you grow up. What? That's his backstory? When the smoke dissipates, Brandon takes a few steps back. Look! The guys point at him, laughing. He pissed his pants! Come on, let's go get closer to the fireworks. He won't bother anyone anymore. Some spit on him before walking away. Others kick him. None of you move. Brandon looks at you, and you look down at the floor, not quite knowing what to feel. Fireworks mark the end of the summer. I wish we could have just... I mean, obviously he's different than he was. And the beginning of something that haunts you to this day. Ooh, Christine. Why, Christine? Why didn't we do anything? I couldn't possibly imagine what was about to happen. Sorry, I forgot to... We couldn't know, it's true. But we just watched, Christine. Dark Christine. That vengeful son of a bitch Brandon killed him. Killed him! If we'd intervened that night at the beach, if we'd stopped them. No, it's not fair. There was nothing you could have done. Or at least nothing that could have changed your cousin's destiny. Luke clears his throat, and the noise brings you back to the present. There's no easy way to put it, so I'm just gonna say it. Doug, your cousin, your friend, who everyone thought was dead in the months following that summer of 1954, he's alive. I knew it, though, but so for me it's like, yeah, I knew that. What? Yeah. And I can prove it. But, Brandon, your head starts spinning. Just listen to me. It won't take long. It won't take long. This newspaper is from December 9th, 1954. Your cousin had disappeared on December 1st. Every newspaper tells more or less the same story. Watching from a window, an eyewitness saw a big boy savagely beating a smaller one. He went inside to call the police. And when he came back, both boys were gone. A few days later, the witness recognized Doug's face on the missing posters, put up by the family. It was the same boy the big guy had beaten ferociously. Maybe Brandon was under the control of the vampire, like Gosh, there's a Renfield, yeah. There's been a movie out lately, so I should have known that. When the police showed him some pictures, he also recognized Brandon, the prime suspect in the investigation after everything that happened that summer at Varney Lake, and whom the police had been unable to question because he was missing. Everyone drew the same obvious conclusion. Brandon was behind Doug's disappearance. But the newspapers also mention a second witness in passing. Benjamin Vanstone, an addict who lived on the streets. The police took his testimony, however, his statements were dismissed on the assumption that it was some kind of hallucination. Vanstone had stated that a winged figure appeared above the big boy, and that with one swipe it had cut off his head. Okay, so no Renfield situation here. Wow. The smaller boy was dying. The figure held him in their arms and stuck its fangs into his neck. At that point, Vanstone got scared, hid in an alley, and didn't come out for a few hours. A few days later, he showed up to testify. He couldn't stand the nightmares anymore. Nobody believed him. You understand what this means, right? Liz turned Doug into a vampire. Lou nods. No, it can't be. Jimmy speaks softly with a broken voice. You look at him with an overwhelming desire to hug him. And you? What do you feel? Your cousin, Doug, he's alive. And what about Brandon? What had Liz done with Brandon's body? Didn't his family deserve to know what happened to him? Does it matter? The story Lou just told you was true. Brandon had tried to kill your cousin. Brandon. Never mind that he was your first kiss. Ooh. Brandon was a son of a bitch. You take a deep breath. How many years has it been? No. Doug would have told us. Look. I took this picture a few weeks ago. Oh my god! Oh yeah, he doesn't get old. It's for the book I'm writing. A biography about Doug. The vampire kid. But I knew that also. I told you, he's writing the book about Doug and not about Mr. List. I can't believe it. The seconds pass. Raindrops clatter relentlessly on the sidewalk. With the perseverance of a ruminative thought. Why didn't Doug ever contact you in all these years? Where is he now, right? Lord told you he didn't know the current whereabouts of your friend, the vampire kid, and that he'd let you know as soon as he had more information. Now we have to wait. Listen, are you okay? Can I give you a ride somewhere? What? Christine repeats the question. Hey! Christine tries to smile. Come here. I'll take you home. No, thanks. I need to walk. Jimmy? You make an effort to look her in the eyes. Christine doesn't say anything else. You give her a kiss on the cheek, and you walk away in the rain. Doug is still alive. Why didn't he ever call his mother? Does he know how his family suffered? How you suffered? You still remember the day Christine called you to tell you about it. Christine was sure that they were going to find him. That Doug was fine, but you suspected the worst. Senior year of high school was one of the hardest. All you could think about were Doug's plans. It seemed so unfair that someone had taken away his future. Far from diminishing, the pain grew as the years went by. Alcohol helped you sometimes. It made you forget. You never stopped visiting your friend's mother. Aww. Even though she didn't lose hope. She suddenly flew into fits of hysteria that tore you apart. You think about what Lou told you. About the witness who had seen the posters papering the whole town. As soon as you heard about his disappearance, you traveled to join the search. Doug lived in the same town as Brandon. How could you not see that something like this would happen? Well, it was not really like the obvious conclusion. I mean, I guess if you're friends with a vampire, all goes, everything goes, but still not like the first thing you would think of, right? That Brandon would seek revenge. It's so weird, because if he was so muted, why did he suddenly turn back to be so aggressive? So much pain. The alcohol, the street fights, the army, Vietnam, the shootings, the smell of the jungle. The return to the country, the desire to leave everything. The nights sleeping on the streets, the fights in the shelter. And now a guy like Lou comes along and tells you that Doug is alive? Who the fuck does he think he is? You try to calm down. You know someone is following you. It's the same person who was watching you in the bar, hiding behind a newspaper. It's not the first time you've been followed since you came back from Vietnam. And you know exactly what you have to do to lose them. After a while you get out of the van and wander aimlessly. Or at least that's what you think you're doing. The rain follows your every move. What's the weird noise I have? Do you have that? Is that just me? It's like beep, boop, beep, beep. Is that maybe supposed to be like cars? That would be hilarious. Like hooping, like not hooping, honking cars. Hoop is like honk, you know, well. You hurry your pace, driven by a force you can't define. A certain attraction. The deer, you suddenly think. What the fuck? This was something you and Doug used to talk about. In one of his magazines, Doug had read about a doctor who claimed there were people who had a hard time seeing what they were thinking. People who were thinking about an apple, and who couldn't see it in their head. You didn't see the apple. But you could swear that for a second you could see the deer exactly as it had been back in '54. What the fuck? The drive-in theater. Like the deer in the mill, something or someone brought you here. You're soaking wet and your legs hurt. How far have you walked already? You cross the grounds, facing the huge screen among the poles of the drive-in's audio system. Some are crooked, some broken in two, but others still have their speakers plugged in, and you even think you can hear static. There he is, Doug. Your friend who had died, and now is alive. Doug! Doug takes a few seconds to answer. Who the fuck are you? You croak at the top of your lungs. Jimmy? Jimmy! All these years. Why, Doug? Why the fuck didn't you tell us anything? Your heartbeat quickens with every step he takes. He doesn't look like the same Doug. Jimmy. Why? You really think I didn't try? Your mom, your friends, me, oh, he's looking Nosferatu. He was watching Nosferatu. Ha ha ha. Have you any idea how much we suffered because of you? You'd like to tell him about that first year of desperate search, about the false hope whenever the phone rang, of the grades at school, of the jobs you got kicked out of Vietnam, of the alcohol, the streets, the hunger, but you don't even know where to start. A shriek freezes your blood, and you stop feeling the floor beneath your feet. Let go of me! No! One of the broken speaker poles pierces your stomach. Jimmy! It's my fault. They won't let me. Doug. I wouldn't forgive myself for being late again. Ooh, trouble in paradise. Come here. Let me help you. Oh, the reflection of the drive-in screen makes Doug's fangs glow. It'll just take a second, then you'll feel better. With the last of your strength, you grab Doug by the arm, and you shake your head. Jimmy, please. Make him promise you, but listen to me. No, I'm tired. Doug looks away, but he doesn't retract his fangs. You try to smile and try to imitate a toad. Little by little, you feel yourself disappearing. You close your eyes, and you wait for everything else to fade away. Wow! Wow! I did not expect this. This was so... I mean, the funny thing is, visually and from the pulp way and the gameplay, it was pretty much the same as Mothman. Like, I mean, not pretty much the same. But it was very, you know, like, it's very clear that these are from the same studio. But the story was so different, because Mothman 1966 was a lot about relationships, but mainly about like I mean, that was just a wild story, you know. I mean, that's just achievement unlocked. Thank you. And achievement unlocked, secret scene. John Carpenter's blah blah Christine. Oh. Oh, he was turned. Oh, happy ending. Oh, look at them. I like both endings because I'm old enough to not be the person who's like, oh, I need the bad ending, so otherwise it's not art, you know. Oh, okay. Ooh. Yeah, I did not know more about Mothman 1966. Okay. Yeah, the story, I mean, this was much more melancholic, you know, very, like, this nostalgia and regretting things and this helplessness of being a child when there's certain things in hindsight you feel like I should have reacted differently, you know, or you see things differently. But as a kid, it's so difficult because, I mean, everything happens, you know, you're developing, you are so smart and there's so many things, you know. But I think it's still, as a kid, very difficult to put everything in order, you know, to kind of... And also, when I was a teenager, like, I was so self-conscious, and that really hinders you from doing a lot of things that you actually want to do and want to say. And so, yeah, it had a really different mood than Mothman, you know, which was more... That was more gung-ho, you know, it was more action movie, and this was more drama. So I really like this, though, the different... It's like a different subgenre of the pulp genre, you know, because it's still pulp, obviously. But also the ending, I mean, it's kind of hilarious. So basically, Doug and the vampire had like a big brother, small young brother relationship. And the way they like shouted, like, don't make me be late again. The Doug's like, fuck you. And then ending up with Jimmy, I mean, it's so cute. It's really lovely. And to think that there's 3 more secret endings means that there's probably a lot of different outcomes you could have achieved. So, wowza. I really love this. Like, I don't even have anything negative to say because... So, I didn't play the minigames, but I still like the minigames. I think they're really smart. They're really fun to do. Just not for my Let's Play. Because, honestly, if I'm playing a game about a vampire, I'm not playing 15 minutes of this, you know, like of a puzzle, of a card game. But I do, like, while I was playing them, I really enjoyed them. And I can just recommend this, you know. I can't recommend this highly enough. I mean, this is just beautiful. And... just the happy ending also, it makes me so happy, you know, because so many stories feel like they need the bad ending, especially in horror, to be, I don't know, more meaningful, or, oh, that's how horror works, you know. But I think now and then, a happy ending, it's nice. It is nice. And in a way it was, you know, that Doug still, but he probably couldn't, he didn't want to lose his friend. And maybe he just knew that Maybe Jimmy didn't want to be bitten because he didn't want to put that on Doug. Because it a little bit felt like they looked so happy at the cinema. Obviously, it was the right decision, you know. So yeah, what do you think? Also, would you have allowed Doug to bite you or not? I mean, with the life that Jimmy had, maybe he thought, this kind of life, I don't want to continue this. And then Doug was like, no, that's not the life you will have, you know, once you're a vampire. And then he enjoyed it, everything again. Yeah, but what would you have done? How did you like this? Who's your favorite character? I gotta say, I like all of them, to be quite honest. I like Xanthos. I'm really interested to get to know Xanthos in further Pixel Pulps, you know. And I really like Doug. He's so cute, just adorable. I mean, with the croaking and everything, like so harmless, and with the puzzles. Like what an adorable little nerd. Because very often nerds are also, even in fiction, you know, they have this incel subtext to them. But Doug didn't have none of it. He was just super cute, just an adorable nerd. And then Jimmy was great. I even like Christine. She was more complicated, but I actually like. I think it's fine, and I like the writing of the women. It's just weird that they're all more complicated and aggressive than the men. So I don't even know what my favorite character was because they were all great. But yeah, what's yours? Tell me in the comments. Also, I hope you enjoyed this. Yeah, I haven't picked a longer playthrough next because first I have a few shorter ones that I wanna play that are on my playlist. I will probably finalize Bramble this week, hopefully. This is such a bummer game. I don't wanna... It's exhausting. It is such a bummer game that I want to finish it so I can do something else. But other than that, I don't really have any plans. But yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this. Sorry, this is a horrible outro. And I hope you have a wonderful day. Oh man. Anyways, see you next time. Bye. This is my self-recorded outro song so I don't get hit with copyright claims. If you subscribe to a lot of fun tutorials, reviews, and let's plays.